Hey guys, at North my messy hair and at North the bad angle, see I'm taking over the bed slowly. But I wanted to, well, first up, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notification today. Sorry, you're not getting much, and that's because today is one of those days that I want to watch YouTube and TikTok and eat. And I unfortunately can't because I have dance. I did want to talk about a few things and to tell you what's new and all of this. And so I looked into something and I really looked into it, but then I decided not to. And so here's the thing. So first, lately I just kind of every once in a while, on Instagram or something, I'll get an ad or something for some form of casting or something, and I actually got one yesterday that had continuously popped up, and I looked into it and I almost did it, but I ended up deciding not to. It was to become a glow up or a glow girl, which is, so I am going to say this because this is something that I feel for parents out there who have young kids or just teenagers or something, and you want to look for ways to get them out there even more, this might be something that you might want to look into, because I kind of didn't fully understand it, but I understood it for the most part, which seems like something. So just look up their Instagram and you can look into that. I'm saying that because of the fact that there's so many ways to go in the path of that I'm choosing to go on becoming a pop star, and I kind of went back and forth on ideas because most of the time auditions and things happen because of your dance teacher. I come find auditions an opportunity for you, and that's how you get going, and basically all on your dance teachers. But since I dance on Zoom worldwide, I love it. It's where my heart is because of the fact that I get to work with really professional people and stuff. But since worldwide is not necessarily a team, it's not necessarily an opportunity thing. It's more well, it is in a way because you're getting opportunity to work with really famous, really well known, top quality teachers, and that's great. But it's not the kind that oh, your dance teacher finds opportunity for you. So, and that's something that I want to talk all about, training to be a pop star and that sort of stuff. And so there are other ways. There's open call auditions where anyone can I go to an audition for, or then there's certain and auditions that are parent approved. What that means is it's certain types where you actually have to have complete you have it requires actual information and stuff, and permission from your parents. There are things like that, and that by information I mean some way that they can reach out and actually get an okay from your parents before anything happens and stuff. And Glow Girl, I looked into it and it seemed like a fun little thing, but in the end it kind of also I think it's a great opportunity for people, but for me it just kind of it was a full audition process, and it came down to the thing that kind of stopped me, even though my dad was gonna look into it, even though it's a great opportunity. It's not. It's more one of those that gets you out there, where a lot of where I think millions of people are gonna see you, and that situation can always be really good. But it came down to the application thing. Like it wasn't a thing. Okay, Sam, you gotta let me have some here. It came down to there's a thing that you have to fill out first, or and that's just so they get parent permission and they get to know a little bit about you, but more on your talent. Like, are you a singer, dancer, actor? Like, it gives you so many different things. And this isn't sponsored, by the way. This is just something that I feel would be great for younger people out there that want to get a huge start. And then there's obviously just straight up social media way where people reach out to you and for things that they think you'll be a good fit for. And that is something that I kind of right now is the main thing of the main path. But at the same time that it's something that with this I'm gonna give you tips. First whether a company reaches out to you or you reach out to a company or whatever, do your research is what I mean. Really look into them, really do your research, because you never know if it's a scam or something. And another tip that I would say is on Instagram there's two different things. There's just a normal DM, and then there's another thing which is I think it's a private DM. I forget what it's called, but it's it's a request where it's where certain accounts, I don't know what or why, but this is but certain accounts, when they DM you, it becomes a request, meaning you can't actually see fully, you can't fully see any things until you, okay. Mika, you want to get on the mat? Okay, you can get on the mat. Which is a thing, let me adjust here. And where you have to accept it, but that, don't ever accept it. I learned that, and I learned this because a lot of the times that is something either sometimes it's inappropriate, but usually usually it's just really weird stuff. So I always instantly block anyone that does that. And also if it's from a company or something, usually it's either a company that is basically not much of anything and is a scam, or just a straight out scam. Not saying all the time, but yeah. That's just a normal thing. So usually I would, well actually I'm not even going to say usually, I'm going to say every single time, look into it, do your research before you just accept it. And when I mean do your research, I mean look at their Instagram account, see what they're posting, see what's on their Instagram story. You really I look them up on Google. Really do your research to find out what they are. So yeah, but it just wasn't the right fit for me with Glow Girls. Not saying it's a bad thing at all. I feel Glow Girl is great for a lot of people, but here's the thing is that right now, when I look for opportunities, or when I'm talking about future and what I want to do outside actual things that are more on top of training and on top of just social media, becoming a pop star has so many other things, and that such as auditions, opportunities, and so many things go into that. And with that, I feel it was definitely one that it's great to give you the audition experience, but also, like, I think that it mostly builds your following. And that's great. You want a huge following. But it just wasn't it for me, and that's okay. So, another thing about, like, training to be a pop star and stuff is be prepared, be ready. And what I mean by this is what I mean by this is constantly be ready. Be ready to last minute have to get to take some headshots. Last minute, like, do things because with it, like, that's the thing is that a lot of the times you don't actually like get a ton of time to prepare for these things, so you just have to be ready. And for me, I love training to be a pop star. So right now, I'm at, like, I would say right now I'm at a point where training, I'm kind of learning, but that's also huge. And, like, here's the thing, is that, like, it seems little, but it's also, like, huge. And, like, I feel like with it, there's so much that goes into it that you don't understand always. So it's, like, one of those things that, like, you have to, like, be ready to do, because training to be a pop star, even though there's so many things, and with it, the little things actually are huge. So for me, I did a Justin fashion show once, and that, like, even though that was kind of a big stepping stone, and it, like, looked good, like, on, like, if I were to go to an audition and they asked me, like, oh, what have you done before? I could literally say, hey, I done a Justin fashion show, and that instantly makes you look better. And, like, what I mean by that is because with a lot of the times with auditions, because Abby's taught us all about auditioning and audition, and my first audition was for Abby, the only audition I ever had, and it was for a scholarship to get a free Sunday class, which I didn't get it, but I got a call back, and that's huge, because that's the thing with auditioning and there's a callback, and what that means is that, like, certain people, like, so everyone who's auditioning gets to audition, and then there's a thing called a callback, where certain people, like, their top favorites, and get a chance to continue in the audition process, which is called a callback. And that's, like, a really big deal if you get one, because it doesn't happen all the time. And for me, when I did the audition for the scholarship for AB, first up, it was a dream come true. Second off, I did a really great job. And with that, I generally couldn't be more happy over what happened, even though I didn't get the scholarship. Is that, like, it was my first ever audition. And I was unprepared because, to be honest, I don't think anyone except for, like, Abby and, like, Miranda were the only ones prepared. And that's because they were the ones holding the audition. But I feel like no one else really was prepared. So that kind of made me feel, like, a lot better about it. And the fact that it was my first ever one and I got a call back and I wasn't even prepared. And what that meant was Abby did a callback thing. So she gave everyone a chance to dance for the audition, and then she started doing in callbacks where she would pick certain kids that she really liked throughout the audition process to dance again, and those kids were up for the chance to receive the scholarship, and everyone else didn't. And she didn't give everyone a call back. She was very, very, very picky about it. She was picky, but also once that happened, it was it was my first time. And the fact that I made so far on my first try, that's amazing. And every opportunity, even if it's small or big, is a great opportunity. So even though it was I'm auditioning for a scholarship from one of my dance teachers, well, two of them, and then that's huge. That's still adding on to my career. The fact that now when I go out and audition for something else, I can say, and people ask for a list of things I've done. I kind of a resume pretty much. I can say I did a Justive fashion show, and so I auditioned for a scholarship from Abby Lee Miller and Miranda something or other. I'm gonna have to figure out her last name. And I got a call back on it first. And I can also put on there other things the fact that I have amazing dance training, and it kind of just comes down to those little things can actually be huge. And that's what I look for. It's so with me, I treat every dance class like an audition. I'm prepared now because it makes me look good. What I mean by that is if I show up to class and Abby decides to throw on an audition and I'm prepared and no one else is, that makes me look, it shows that I'm smart. Or and I don't mean to be braggy or anything, but that's something that it makes me look better, or because of the fact that I'm prepared and no one else is. No offense, and I'm not throwing offense. This is just how it works. Is that anytime you can figure out something to make you stand out, make you look good, is something great. I think smart. I'm the type where for me, I pick up choreography really fast, which is a huge help because of the fact that when I had that scholarship audition, we had I want to say we had around an hour, maybe a little bit less, to learn the combination, and it wasn't the most easy combination. It was a really fun, unique combination, and I really enjoyed it because it was fun and just kind of freeing in a way, while also still while also still having certain steps and certain things to make it a combination. It also had kind of just that feeling of being loose and just having fun. And at the end of it was completely we got to improv. I think smart. What I mean is I think fast and I think smart. I know what makes me look good and what dance moves I'm really good at, what dance moves I'm not so good at. And I know how to throw it together quickly and improv, which is great. And so instantly that was thinking smart there. Basically with this, anything you can do to make you look more prepared, make your image look really good, on anything really. And that doesn't make you look like a hot mess. Anything that doesn't make you look like an unprepared hot mess is all helping you. It's all making you look good, and it's making people start to notice you a little bit more. And now I know a couple tricks. I know some cartwheel tricks, which is always fun and great. And I'm just like, I'm the type where like life has a plan. Somehow there's no plan and there is. What I mean by that is I'm the type where like I'm always think that like there's no plan for your life, if that makes sense. There's no plan that you're guaranteed to do a certain path in your life, and that's something that is really great. But there is, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, even though there's no plan, there's kind of a direction, and your heart is just gonna lead you down, hopefully, the right path. And whatever that path is hopefully it's amazing and that it's the right path. And that's my big thing, is that like because sometimes I'm like, with this, it's the sort of thing where not everyone thinks that this is something that will work out for everyone, and that's some, and like no one said anything, by the way. I'm just saying that like I know, because I watch a lot of social media. I am a social media influencer, or so I know that not everyone out there thinks that this can become a career and stuff and like work out for people. And that's something that I say with that. Put your whole heart and soul in it, and it will work out somehow. One day, some way, it will work out, most likely. And if it doesn't, and it wasn't on you that it didn't work out, and it wasn't that you weren't good enough, it just meant that your heart wanted something else, and you just didn't know it yet, because it didn't know it yet. And I believe that if you put your whole heart and soul in something that you love, and you really try your best, and it can work out really well. And that's something that I'm very good at. I didn't get my splits. And I didn't get my splits. It's by sitting around doing nothing. It was that I really wanted my splits, and I really worked hard for it, and my heart knew I wanted it. And I put so much work into it that finally, only I got my splits. Like, there's so many things, and with this path, the little things are huge. So the little thing, I'm like, oh, like you took a couple Instagram photos. That's huge, because now it's building up your following a little bit on your Instagram. It's making people like, it's something out there that I feel like people are gonna see, and hopefully they'll like it, and that can always be good. And so for now, peace out. But hopefully you understand a little more about this path.